I know many of you have probably heard of Gause Built custom boats. We have heard phenomenal things about them, but we've never had the opportunity to jump on one, but that ends today. We actually flew up to Tampa, Florida, and we have a little bit of a treat for you all. We're gonna go through their facility, which is right here, learn about it from the team, and actually jump on 2 different boats and go through all of those details that you guys love to see. So let's go have a good time. All right. Wow, this is nice in here. You guys don't mess around.
Hey, how you doing?
Dave, Mark.
See you.
Nice to meet you, Alan.
Thank you very much for having us. I've been excited about this for a while. Like I've mentioned to you guys over the phone, I've heard a ton of good things about you guys. The boats that you built quite the reputation. So thank you for having us out here, first of all. And I'd love to have the group go through your facility if you don't mind. If you want to get into some detail about your background, you know, let's do it. I want to learn as much as we can about Gause boats today.
Sounds good.
So let's make it happen. First of all, the lobby's absolutely gorgeous.
Thank you.
I wish my living room looked this nice. You guys do personal decorating as well?
So,
All right.
a little bit of everything.
All right. Cool. So let's have at it.
All right.
Here around. We'll go down to check out our paint shop here.
Okay. All right, you mentioned the paint department, but the first thing I saw when we drove up here was this incredible lineup of Gause boats. What is this all about?
So a lot of these boats are resale boats. We broker the majority of the used boats of our brand, and the other ones are here, some of them for service, touch-up paint, you know, routine maintenance and stuff, upfit.
Yeah, one thing that's always caught my attention on your boats, especially on social media, is the crazy paint jobs that you guys do. It looks amazing, even 100 times better in person.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So it's a yacht quality finish paint job. You know, the boats come out of the mold in white, and then we sand them, prime them, and paint them with Emron. It's a top quality product. Stands up to the elements way better than gel coat, and is very repairable.
Yeah,
so
that's what Mark was telling me earlier.
Yeah.
No, it looks absolutely gorgeous, and then I saw the airbrush tarpon at the beginning.
Yeah,
there.
all the new boats have the airbrush logos, FLs. We paint the engines, custom paint the engines here with the color match logos on them and stuff as well.
Absolutely gorgeous. So you guys don't even put the Gause boats logo. It's basically just the tarpon.
Just the tarpon. Yeah.
If you guys have seen these things driving, you know, down the expressways, and you're like, what the heck is that thing with the tarpon on the side? Yeah, Gause boats. Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and check in that paint department.
Right. Sounds good. So this is where we do the paint and assembly. Got our spray booth over here. This is one that we just finished the paint on, and we're wet sanding and buffing it. It'll get finished with a full ceramic coating after we assemble it and rig it.
Really? You do that to every boat?
Yep.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we offer that on all the boats, new and pre-owned. And this one's like a pearlescent finish. So
yeah, you can see it.
If you look at it under the light.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely don't get that with gel coat.
Yeah. So
you guys really go, I can tell, above and beyond on every aspect of this fill. I mean,
absolutely.
So you can tell. The first thing I saw, you know, when we saw the ones in the water earlier, was that everything looked, I mean, perfect. And that only comes from being very meticulous and, you know, throwing something like a ceramic coat over the paint on every build. And you said all the brokered boats as well?
Yeah, we will do any of that kind of stuff on any of the pre-owned boats for the new owners. The coating lasts 3 to 4 years, so some of these boats are due for recoats and stuff. So we offer all of that stuff in-house here.
I guess that's why a lot of previous owners come to you to broker the boats.
Absolutely.
You know, you can guarantee that they've gone through your machine here, and if they're buying a boat from you, it's the same, you know, quality as basically getting one new.
Yeah. Certified pre-owned.
There you go. All right. What are these, paint booths?
Yeah, these are the paint booths. There's actually a boat in there that's getting repainted. It's 2017, I think. It got pretty beat up, and we're just refurbishing it for the original owner. So,
how big a boat can you fit in here?
We've had about 34 footers in there. Yeah, it's 45-foot spray booth. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
And this smaller one? Small.
Yeah, we do all of our small parts and stuff, and engine painting and stuff in there.
Spray and gel coat.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is a boat that I just resold, one owner, 2015. Added a trolling motor, some new Garmin electronics and everything. It's all original paint.
This thing looks brand new.
Detailed it and did a full ceramic coat. It's almost ready to roll for the new owner. Recovered a few cushions on it.
Beautiful.
Pretty
Yeah,
low
definitely doesn't
hour
look
boat.
like a 2015.
Yeah, and then here we got another new boat going together on this side. This one's getting a half tower and a 400R V10 towers
should be a
over
nice
there
setup.
on that side. Yeah, this is going to be a cool boat.
How does it run with a V10 on it?
It's about upper 50s and really gets better fuel economy than the V8 300, believe it or
Really?
not. Yeah, faster cruise speeds, about 38 cruise. So
Very nice.
very good on the performance. And this is a older 23 footer that we just repainted. It's getting prepped for ceramic on the bottom and on the interior. Some more
That
of
is
our
pretty.
maintenance and service capabilities. Not bad for a 2004.
No, these boats look like, I saw you had the Ford Bronco.
Yeah.
We talked about our interest in classic cars, and certain boats last forever.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like those Sea Crafts, and people just get them and clean them up, fix them up. This seems like that style of boat too, that you can, obviously you got to keep it, you got to maintain it, but it seems like something you could pass down to your children.
Oh, yeah.
And that thing's like a work of art there. I mean, that thing's absolutely
Thank you.
gorgeous.
The structure's there.
Yeah.
Just keep
Cleaning it up. You know, it's topical stuff, but the hull's gonna last.
Yeah,
Unlike maybe some of those other ones that you gotta
yeah.
rip out all the interior guts.
exactly.
So walking over to this other lot, I saw this again when we were coming in, and it looks like you have every color available on planet Earth, which it looks absolutely amazing. This looks like a boat show setup here. What are we looking at?
So this is our service department on this side. These boats are all here for service and, you know, adding accessories and updating stuff, getting ready for the fishing season.
That's coming up,
So,
right? So
yeah,
everybody came in at the same time?
We're staying busy. No, we're packed like this all the time.
Oh, really?
All the time. Yeah.
So you must have quite the service setup
Yeah.
to be able to maintain all
We've
this.
got 3 full-time techs, a manager, a pickup and delivery driver, detailers. We're totally geared for the service side of it.
This is incredible.
Been developing that for like about 18 years, the service end of it.
You guys could do your own mini boat shows just with your service
Yeah,
boats that you have here.
Exactly.
Come by, come check out the boats, and they got a little bit of everything here.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
this is awesome.
So this is the inside of our service shop. We can get about 5-6 boats in here at a time. We're doing all kinds of work, you know, repowers, upfit on electronics, stereo equipment, trolling motors, you name it.
It's
So
impressive
all
to
of
see
that
some of these
happens.
boats that you guys have from 2004, 2006 that you guys bring to life
Yeah.
that look just as nice as your new
Yeah.
boats.
Yeah.
So it shows, you know, the type of experience that they have, the craftsmanship from everybody at this facility to be able to not only build a great looking boat from the start, but to be able to grab one that was
Yeah.
almost demolished during Hurricane Ian and bring it back to life like one of your new ones as well. So
Yeah.
very impressive. Thank you for the tour here. I had no idea that any of this existed, and the amount of like movement you have in here. It shows, you know, I guess, you know, why that reputation you have with Gause that I've heard so much about, you know, exists.
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
now that we've seen it all at the facility, we want to go actually jump on the water, take a spin on those 2 boats,
Oh, yeah.
take a look around, and let you give us the full walkthrough. So
Absolutely. Look
let's go
forward
make
to
that
it.
happen.
All right.
Okay, now that we saw the facility, obviously we want to get out in the water and see what these boats are actually about. So we have 2 different models. This is going to be the main focus. If you can, Dave, go through a little bit of what we're going to see here on this one.
Yeah, we're going to take a ride out here and just show you guys how well it rides and how shallow it goes and everything. And then, of course, you guys will look at all the features and everything.
Yeah, we'll walk through. I'd like for you to take us through and obviously, from bow to stern, show us every detail we can, explain some of those changes that you've made recently, advancements, and just, teach us everything you can about the boat. And obviously we're gonna get the drone up in the air, get as much footage as we can on the boat. I love the way the boat sits in the water, the stance when it's at idle. For me, it says a lot about the boat. The CG when the boat's running, but it just looks like a really cool looking center console just by staring at it. And then again, the paint job, look at the reflection of the water you're seeing off that boat. It's ridiculous. Looks like that tarpon's really there, just jumping out of the water, breaching. All right, we're gonna show you what these boats are built for. And again, take you along for a ride as if you were along with us. We wish we could bring you all along, but I don't think the boat has quite that capacity. All right, we ripped through the bay. Obviously, it's not very choppy, windy out here. We did go through some boat wake, and I did notice that the boat was very solid. What's the dead rise on this boat?
The dead rise at the bow is 45, and it transitions to about 12 degrees in the transom.
Okay. So I noticed it was a flatter bottom. Obviously, you get 12 inches of draft. You can see Dave over there. It's not even in his knees of water. But usually with that flatter bottom, sometimes you get, a little bit more of a bang. One thing I did notice is that I didn't feel a lot of that.
Yeah.
And the waves that we did hit, just like any other boat, it was just so solid that you barely felt it. So no rattle, no nothing. You can tell it's a well-built boat.
Thank you.
I wanted to start here at the power. We got a 300R.
Yeah, this is a 300R. We've been running these motors on here for the last couple of years. We like them a lot. Performance, and they're really quiet and everything, lightweight. At cruise speed, we're getting like 35 mile an hour cruise and upper 40s top end. And we've got the porta bracket jack plate there that's got 17 inches of travel. So when we run it up to the top, it keeps the prop above the bottom of the boat, so we can get into about 12 inches.
So as long as the hole has the keel, if the keel's not hitting, the prop's not gonna hit.
Correct.
That's awesome. We were doing like 40 on the way over here, and I think we're doing 2 something miles per gallon. What's your optimal cruise?
Yeah, at about 4,300 RPMs, we're doing like 35 miles an hour, and we're getting like 2.6 probably miles per gallon.
Okay. You say you're doing even better with the Sharrow Propeller.
Yeah. Actually, faster speeds at lower RPMs and getting close to actually reading about 3 miles per gallon. Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
Pretty cool. We're going to jump on that boat on the way back, but maybe we do touch on some of the differences while we're walking through this boat. So let's start here. I mean, we've already started. Let's get into the beam, live well if you can. Just walk us through.
Yeah, so, you got the wide gunnels and the bigger back deck section, standing up here, fishing, casting cast nets and all of that stuff. Transom well, finished on the inside, 45 gallon. Got the window in the well. Got a nice overhang, so when you're standing here in the corner, if you're bottom fishing, your toes aren't hitting the transom. Bulkhead. Easy access to all the, rigging for service, power pole pumps, jack plate pumps. Everything's nice and neat back in there. Easy to get to.
Very important. And all these pieces are custom made just for you.
Yes. Yeah, I've designed the doors, transom speaker doors and stuff, and I have them made locally at Deep Blue Marine. Yeah, and then bilge access, full access to everything. All your pumps and plumbing and everything. Got a drain plug there, so if you put it on the lift or on the trailer, you can pull the plug from the inside.
Oh,
all your rinse and rainwater flows right out the bottom of the boat. All the hatches have the gasket landings. This is the central bilge. Everything drains into here, but these compartments on either side are bone dry. They've got, everything's molded gel coat finished in the hatches, as well as finished around the edges of the hatches.
Yeah, you can see the finish work on these hatches is great. Nice deep
drain
tracks here in the catches. So yeah, keeping these dry is usually not an easy feat.
Yeah.
A lot of boats, even though sometimes they claim it. So these aren't, you said these are faired and finished. Actually, the whole bottom with the stringer and bulkhead, there's not a drop-in piece in here. This is just the
that's an all molded stringer system with that molded gel coat finish.
Right.
Yeah, adds to the structural integrity of the hull. And then
gives you more overall space than a bucket.
Absolutely.
From what we've seen. So these are dry storage boxes. These are not insulated in this one in particular.
Yeah.
So okay.
And then here we got the cooler slide, foot pedal release.
That is awesome.
Rigid cooler, and we custom painted it to match the boat. non-skidded on the top. So you step up here and get the rods out of the rod holders. It locks in the out position. And then that's the fill for the freshwater tank. It's 45-gallon built in to the deck. So it's not a secondary tank. It's structurally part of the boat.
Right, that's something I personally haven't seen. I know you mentioned it a little bit earlier. So if you guys understand that clearly, it's basically finishing the sides of the stringer, the whole bottom, and the bulkheads, and utilizing that entire space for your freshwater. There's not a tank thrown in there before the liner is dropped in. So, you know, something unique that I've never seen, and pretty cool. You utilize all that space. I mean, I wouldn't say there's less cost because it takes some time, and labor to finish that.
You know, most of the tanks have a lifespan. This is going to last forever. You know, forever.
True.
So,
and this little thing right here, you said you invented that? That's a cool little.
Yeah, this is my design. With the
just be able to do it with your foot. These things always seem to have a problem. I mean, they're always, like I said, those pins to pull them up. It's always a pain. Be able to just do that with your foot and not even have to bend over. It's very nice.
Right. Tackle center leaning post, drawer,
it's faux teak
boxes. This is a faux finish teak over high density PVC board with the Emron clear coat over it, so it's totally maintenance free.
Yeah, the color combinations and the finish work that you guys is really above and beyond a lot that we've seen in our experience so far. Is beautiful.
Yeah, so here at the console we got the faux teak finish panels, inset custom painted back panel for the electronics. It's all sealed and dried and has a blind drain that drains the bucket out if you get any water in there. We're running the Edson steering wheel real teak finish, so you can see how good it matches.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's fancy. Obviously getting a lot of buzz now with some of these center consoles.
Yeah.
It's pricey, but beautiful.
Yes, absolutely. Bocatech switches. We got the drop-in cup holders up here with the drains. We do embed a magnet in the panel, so if you want streaming music off your phone, you just put your phone down there and it won't move.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool deal.
And then we have a drop-in door over the top of the electronics, so you can secure it and keep it out of the weather when you're not using it. Lock it up. Pretty easy to use.
Yeah. And it's nice that you can completely get that out of the way, so it's not like bubbled up at the bottom there.
Yeah, exactly, like you see with some of them.
Or bouncing around, so.
Overhead, we got Simrad Mercury combination gauge, Fusion stereo, Bluetooth, all JL audio, speakers and amplifier, life jacket storage up here. This boat's got the full spectrum Shadowcaster lighting, 16 color undergunnel with the integrated map lights and bait well and underwater lights all pumped through the controller that plugs into the Simrad.
We've used Shadowcaster on a couple of boats, and it's phenomenal. Our experience so far with them has been fantastic.
Yeah, we've been using them since they started. They're a local company.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yeah, we know those guys real well. They have an awesome product.
Yep.
Storage in the console, the battery switches inside here, key switch. The new Mercuries have the ability to, once you turn the key switch on, do your start and stop from the handle. So just to kind of clean up the whole look, put the key switch inside.
Yeah, it's amazing how these dashes have changed from having all kinds of gauges everywhere to having almost nothing.
Trying to keep it. Yeah, we've done
less is more.
Best to keep it super clean and functional. Jack plate control. We made a little custom landing for the power pole remote to keep it off the dash as well.
Okay.
Yeah, this is our proprietary hardtop design, 2-level, more like a 3/4 tower to get the center of gravity down lower. Designed it with the curved out steps, and the edge is curved in on the tower hardtop to make it easier to get in and out of. And then up here we got our newer design control box that we designed in-house. Again, makes it easy entry, getting in for your shoulders and all of that stuff. The cushion width is wider to make it easier to come under without having to get on your knees. Got a footstep here, real comfortable for passengers, plenty big enough for 2 people. Got the integrated electronics pod with 2 cup holders up here as well. This full tower design is designed to collapse for, bridge clearance and for trailering. and has the quick breakaways here, which is a unique feature. You don't have to have the tool to get it apart. Purposes of bridge clearance and stuff, we're probably about 11.5 feet from the water to the top of the tower, which is the backrest to the leaning post. When you fold it down on the trailer, it's under the legal trailering height, and it's probably around 12 feet on the trailer with the tower folded down. So here at the console, under the forward seat, we got a little storage bucket for ropes, flip-flops, whatever, and then it lifts out. It's sealed with the rubber gasket, and then you have access to the batteries and charger and everything.
Okay. All nice and clean in there.
And then easy access to the wiring and electronics for servicing and stuff. Super clean, easy to get to.
One thing I think you haven't mentioned, fuel capacity on this.
The fuel capacity is 100 gallons.
I think we may have mentioned it back at the shop, just in case.
Yeah.
100 gallons.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then moving forward, the side seating, you know, got the cushions. The thing that I like to point out to people, it's got, because of the bow rise, you got a real backrest here. A lot of guys, you know, boats are putting the backrests this way. I'm not a big fan of that, just because you got your legs out in front of you. And it's not as comfortable of a ride. But you got storage underneath here, waterproof again as well. Super dry storage here. The cushions
Magnetized?
are held on by magnets. Been doing that
awesome.
since about 2012.
Really?
Yeah, it's something that I had never seen it done. I don't know if anybody was doing it before me or not, but 2012 is when I came up with that idea. Now we're building the magnets in as part of
amazing.
the hatch.
I didn't know you guys did it. Again, we didn't have any experience in your boat. We've seen it probably in the last, what, two years maybe?
Yeah.
On other boats. So I guess you're way ahead of your time with that.
Been doing it a little longer than that. Moving forward here, this is insulated. It drains overboard as a kill box.
This is your okay.
Yeah, and dry storage as well.
Yep.
Again, you got the magnetic in the hatch here for the front deck cushions when you're using the shade top. And this is the isinglass.
Very
And
nice.
on gas shocks, and again, all the, you know, nice fit and finish on the lip. This is all hand finish. When we trim the hatch down, we round it over and then spray it, wet sand it, and buff it so we get that molded finish look.
Yep.
And then we got our tarpon chair, removable backrest. You know, this is something that I designed as well. Our molded bottom for this backrest pulls out. You could use it as a rocket launcher. And then forward of that, you've got this deeper storage, which you could put 5-gallon buckets, cast nets.
That goes way down in there.
Yeah. And that you're looking at the finished front end of the stringer system, which, you know, is bonded to the whole boat, and is why when you hit a wave, I mean, you're hitting a pretty sizable thickness of material below the water line because of the design of the stringer system.
You get to take advantage of all that space when a bucket, from our experience, usually eats up a lot more of that, you know, cubic footage, if you will. So this is a space, I mean, obviously these boats are for inshore fishing, the Boca Grande tarpon thing. I'm sure you've seen it online or you've done it, but, you know, being able to fight one of those big tarpon from up here is pretty comfortable, and then this thing swivels around. So similar to the fighting chairs we've seen on some of the largest sport fish and center consoles that are aft for, you know, big billfish, you guys put it on the bow for tarpon, so you can chase them down. And I've seen those tournaments online. They look like a lot of fun. We definitely got to try to do that one day with you.
Yeah, for sure. And then we've got the Dodger top. This is something that I, you know, was instrumental in the design of. Very few snaps. The older versions of them, there were snaps all around the rail. These are just tensioning snaps. And then it has a lead cord piece of rope sewn into the bottom of the canvas to keep it from flapping. So one of the cool things about the shade tops is we have these quick release fittings that are made locally by Acon Marine. And then we have these custom pieces made specifically to fit this rail where they plug in real easy. So you don't need any hard, you know, any tools or anything to take the thing on and off the boat. Goes on and off real easy. And then finished anchor locker here with the anchor hanger. and the baffle boxes for the speakers are molded into this unit here, and you know, all
It's really nice
it
looking in there.
keeps all the speaker wires and all of that stuff protected.
Yeah. That's a little extra step that we probably haven't seen much either from now that I think about it. What he's talking about, usually you see the speakers installed and you'll see the back end of it just through a hole that protrudes into the anchor locker, and those wires obviously are susceptible to getting hit with salt water and everything else you get dumped on it. Those pockets right there are a great idea.
Yeah.
Is that a bucket that you put in?
This is a finished one-piece bucket that has the bump outs for the speaker in it.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
And really, you know, another benefit to it is those cavities are open down into the bilge and add to the performance output of the speaker as well.
That's a good idea.
Like a sub box.
Yeah, yeah. Very nice.
And then on all of the non-skid surfaces, this is a sprayed non-skid, so it's a paint finish, cleans up easier.
Yeah.
You got your choice of colors, so you get any kind of two-tone look that you want, and it's very repairable. If you scratch it or if it just fades over time, it's very easy to tape it off and respray it again.
Yeah.
Make it look
seems
like
to be
brand
just the
new.
right amount of abrasiveness
Yes.
to it, right?
Yeah.
I've been on some that are just like real gritty and it's uncomfortable with your feet. Some are not enough where they're probably still slippery.
Yeah.
This is really nice, and the finish look of it, being able to add that color and stuff really adds a real nice touch.
Yes. So one of the things I like to point out to people is it's unique in this style of boat, which we hear, you know, people refer to them as West Coast boats, West Coast tower boats or whatever, is the freeboard. So in a lot of these boats, or almost all of them, you got a decent freeboard here, but as soon as you step up on the front deck, your freeboard is cut in half.
Sitting you in the ankles.
Yeah. So on our boat, because of the bow rise and everything, and the design of the height of the deck and everything, you still have that good freeboard here.
Right.
And when you come up to the front combing for pulling the anchor, if you're standing fighting a fish or something, it's higher here than it is anywhere else in the boat. So safe for anchoring. You get offshore and wind blows up and you're pulling the anchor and some seas.
Was that the
It's
initial
safe.
idea with this design, with that bow that kind of comes up?
Yes, yeah. You know, the drier ride and,
Right.
you know, to have that decent freeboard.
That's a good
and
idea. It
that
makes sense. I never really
classic
thought
look.
about that, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. I was wondering when, you know, I see that kind of style that goes up at the bow. Obviously, I see it allows for a little bit more flare and that deflection of water, but I never really thought about this. But it does make a lot of sense to be able to get up here and fight a fish, grab an anchor to have that support when otherwise, you know, this thing is hitting you,
Yeah.
you know, halfway down your shins.
Yeah.
So,
and,
cool.
you know, for the family functionality of it, you know, people that have smaller children and stuff, it's safer. You got
True.
good freeboard,
Yep.
you know. The
Yeah, I
moms
guess
are happy.
this is kind of like a hybrid, not a bay boat. What do you call this? I guess that West Coast is the thing, but
Yeah, I mean, I kind
it
of
has
feel...
a lot more freeboard than a lot of the bay boats. It's not a bay boat. It's bigger
Yes.
than a bay boat
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah. I mean,
So-
you know, I've been doing this long enough where there wasn't the term bay boat when I started, and now it's hybrid. So
Call it
I'm
whatever
just
you want.
riding the wave, man. I'm just doing
It's a
my
mix
thing.
of all of them, yeah.
Yeah.
No, but I can say, looking at it from the outside, it looks like it's a little bit lower than what you would feel on the inside. But when you're in here, you know, it
Yeah,
feels
you
like a full-on center console.
Feel like
in here.
you're in it, not on
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
And then, you know, in 2005, when we redesigned the whole hull and everything and did the wider gunnels, this is a working part of the boat. You
Yeah.
know, and not having the C rail, you know, this little splash rail go all the way around the perimeter, you know, it's good for, you know, standing and sitting and,
Yeah.
you know, where, you know, in these hybrid boats and bay boats, this is a narrow, you know, unusable section of the boat.
Yeah, it does seem like everything is very well thought out.
Yeah,
You said
when-
they're
then-
behind a lot of the innovations that people may not know about from many years ago. So you can tell that you put a lot of thought into these boats, and every little detail is from your own experience. You know, it's not just, you know, someone that
Yeah.
decided they wanted to build something that looked cool. You've probably been on boats and you're like, oh man, I wish this would have been like this, or I wish this had that. Being able to apply that to your own boats must be a really nice feeling.
It is, and we've been in the business for 25 years now, lots of repeat customers, and a lot of the, you know, the innovation is feedback from customers.
Sure.
Listening to what they want and kind of trying
Well, it's a big
to
thing
tweak
too,
the
you
design.
know, not being that type of boat builder that thinks they know it all. You know,
Yeah.
actually taking some of that information from very experienced anglers that you have using your product, and maybe you don't use every idea they come up with, but I'm sure you take a lot of it, absorb it, and come up with your own version of it. But you know, the whole idea is to build a better boat and to improve every day. So it's obviously a good thing to hear that you do that.
Yeah, so one of the features of the newer deck design is I widened this as it goes forward. It gets wider so you can walk around the Dodger top when it's up, get to the anchor locker, get to deploy a trolling motor. So plenty of space up here, to fish off of or cast a cast net if you're rodeoing some bait. So
you're saying that's part, you redesigned a lot of the interior of this boat?
Yes. Yeah, the hull in 2012 we redesigned everything. Everything but the hull. Hatches, inner liner, the fit and finish, I showed you how the liner walls come up and it has that flare edge on it for the deck to bond to the top of that flange, so it's a nicer fit and finish and really gives you that kind of monocoque construction ride where you don't get any of that vibration when you're hitting the waves.
It feels incredibly solid. And again, we weren't in super rough conditions, but we were in the conditions that you're going to use this boat 95% of the time. Incredibly solid. That's one thing I noticed. I can't stand a boat that you hear 50, 60 things rattling every time you hit a ripple in the water. Oh, great job. Beautiful boat. And we're out here enjoying exactly what it was built to do. We're just missing, a few rods and,
And of course, it's not a Saturday or there'd be 1,000 people.
Yeah, it's nice. We have it all to ourselves.
Yes, we do.
All right. So now that we were on the other Gause 26 at the 300R and the regular 17 pitch, I think you said Eco Inertia.
19-inch Eco Inertia.
Okay, and now we're on the boat with the Sharrow prop. We've heard a lot about it, spoke to you a little bit about it earlier. You seem to be a fan.
Yeah.
What are the differences you're noticing?
We just ran it for the first time yesterday. It's the MX series. Doesn't really add anything to the top end, which wasn't really important for the customer, and he spec'd it with the Sharrow guys, but it's way better fuel efficiency, way better cruise, stays on plane at super low speeds, like 14 miles an hour, the thing's on plane. Holds the water better and faster turns and stuff, and I mean, it's like, I'm totally impressed, like right out of the box. We ran it pretty hard yesterday and totally impressed.
Yeah. Well, we spoke about it, like I said a little earlier. He was ranting and raving about it so much. It sounds like an expensive propeller, but you said the $5,000 is honestly a good deal for what they're offering.
I feel like, you got this much invested in a boat anyway. I mean, it's well worth it. I mean, what it adds to the performance of the boat and your increase in fuel economy, it's a no-brainer to me. Yeah.
And fuel economy, you were saying you were doing over 3 miles per gallon with the Sharrow when you're doing mid-twos on the regular boat?
Mid-twos with the regular.
So it's a significant difference on top of the performance, the turning ability and how it grabs and everything else. So now we're going to take a spin ourselves. I've been on this boat for a little bit today. Now we're going to see what this thing can do.
Alright, so right off the bat, I noticed that we did jump up on plane and nothing flat, did feel quicker. I'm sitting at 3,700 RPM, we're doing 32 miles an hour, 3.2 miles per gallon. So the ratio of RPM to miles an hour, it's tighter, and that 3.2 miles per gallon is definitely better.
Well, apparently, like Dave was saying, the Sharrow props in reverse are almost as impressive as they are navigating forward. Look at this thing. Obviously he knows what he's doing, but this looks like one of those competitions that you see online, or those lobster crab boats.
Booyah. There we are.
First time? Not bad for a first time.
This is my third time.
That was pretty cool. So that concludes our full in-depth walkthrough on the Gause Boats 26. We got 2 of them today. One had the Sharrow props. It was really cool. It's been a long time that we've been hearing, you know, really good things about this brand and how they're so sought after and how you can't even find them, you know, secondhand. So it was great to come out here, meet Dave, Mark, the whole team, and just go through the factory and learn about the company. That's exactly what we try to do, and that's the information we try to pass along to you guys. So we hope you enjoyed it. Pass this along to any friends that you feel may be interested in it, and subscribe. My name is Alan with Center Consoles Only, and we'll see you again very soon.